What ho, marvellous, splendid Joolz guides here in which I wander around London and tell you fascinating facts. And we are here in Islington, or as it used to be called, Islington. In old times, I think Anglo-Saxon or something. Giselle was the name of somebody, probably one of the people who owned one of the farms. It was a woman's name actually, and Doon meant downhill. And Giselle Doon became corrupted to be Islington, which then became Islington. Who cares? Not me. Anyway, Charles Dickens described Upper Street, or Islington High Street there, as amongst the noisiest and most disagreeable thoroughfares in London, being famous as it was for prostitution and beggars and ne'er-do-wells, sort of place that Simon would hang out, I expect, and Little Lost Lou, who also joins us on today's trip. Yeah, so amongst these pubs was the Red Lion, or the old Red Lion Theatre pub, which rather pleasingly has a picture of a dog on it instead of a lion. I don't know why. A lot of pubs are called the Red Lion. It was a part of the heraldic crest of King James I, I believe, and he said that all buildings of public importance had to have a red lion on them. And therefore, a lot of pubs in London are called the Red Lion. It's one of the most common names. You can see it's a theatre pub.
Islington has more theatres than any other borough. It's got about 25, I think.
Is that a fact? Anyway, it was completely different in those days, and all these pubs were like the airport lounges of their day, because this was essentially where London began. In fact, in Oliver Twist, Charles Dickens describes Islington as being where London started in earnest, and there was actually a toll gate here. Yes, the most important pub of the area was the Angel back in those days. So they call it the Angel, Islington, named after the Angel pub. But oh dear, I mean, look at it now. And it's actually been called the Angel since 1614. The original pub was there in the 16th century. The old Angel Hotel, which was connected to it, was this building here. Look at that. This one's from about 1902. There was almost like 56 or so pubs all the way along this street. Pleasant here, isn't it? Yeah. I can see what Charles Dickens meant. Actually, this street here leading down to Old Street, what street's this now? That used to be full of highwaymen. People had to have escorts when they went down that street. And this one leads down to the St John's Gate, because the Angel pub used to be owned by, well, a part of the Priory of St John. That building with the tower, with the little bell tower on it, that used to be the cinema. That was a cinema in around 1911 or something. It was built as a cinema. And this facade along here, I mean, you can still see, I think you see that building there. There's a little bit of the Peacock Inn. That features in Nicholas Nickleby and in Tom Brown's School Days. Tom Brown stays there just before he goes up to Rugby School. Rugby School. But all these pubs, they would have had billiards and archery and pleasure grounds, and even balloon ascents. We're famous for balloon ascents along here. But it's so grim here, let's get out of here. Should just mention Angel Station, by the way, does have the longest escalator in London. Oh, yeah. Do you remember when the guy, some Norwegian bloke, skied down it? He skied down it, I think it's on YouTube or something. Oh yeah, I remember, yeah, he used to have these really thin platforms at Angel, and you would stand there and there were these trains whizzing by either side. And over there is another one. It's now HSBC, and you can see the little White Lions on the side. It used to be the White Lion pub. There were so many ale houses, but the White Lion represented King Edward IV. It was part of his heraldic crest or something. So probably King Edward IV had something to do with that pub over there. Nothing. Don't just say. You're just saying random words. Just saying random words.
There's no entertainment like the good old music hall. That's the place to go to when the evening shadows fall.
This used to be called Back Road, back up until 1826, when they changed the name to Liverpool Road, after the Prime Minister's name, Lord Liverpool or something. That's what it's named after. But these were raised up because this was the primary cattle drovers' road that led all the way down to Smithfield Market. And in order to stop people from getting completely splashed by the carts and the hooves and the mud and whatever, they'd have these raised levels here on the side. And that building you can see at the end there with the kind of weather vane or something or other on top, that was the Agricultural Hall. It's now become the London Design Centre. Designed in 1862, rather nice old Victorian building for the Smithfield show, which was some sort of, I don't know, cattle show. And in 1891, the first ever Crufts dog show was there at the agricultural hall. How about that?
Do you think these things that say SMI on them because it stands for Smithfield Street Market?
No. Nice try, Lao Che, but this is actually, SMI means St Mary Islington. It's the parish of St Mary's Islington, because St Mary's Church is just over there.
I like knowing things like that.
Yeah, I know, it's nice to know things like, because you could well have been. SMI, look, you see the SMI boundary underneath where it says Liverpool Road over there. It's the parish boundary. What do I see before me? It's another amazing square. Yes, but this is Lonsdale Square. The reason I'm coming down here is not only because it's very beautiful. They've got these rather, I don't know, church-like houses around the edge. The square itself was a holding pen for the cattle that used to be kept here before being transferred down to Smithfield Market. Because the cattle trail was, the herders trail went all the way down Liverpool Road over there.
If you want a spot of laughter when you're feeling blue, go and book yourself a seat or line up in a queue. Let's all go to the music hall, where the show is gay and bright.
What I like about this market, Chapel Street, is that it is a bit more of a kind of authentic, old-style market, like the one you get in EastEnders. So what do you sell here then?
We ain't got much left
Doesn't
today.
matter what else
Jerk
apart from
chicken,
yesterday.
curry goat, rice and peas, mac and cheese, peppered steak, everything. All the Caribbean dishes. Yeah. Ackee and saltfish.
Nice.
This is the stew chicken. That's boneless. This is the curry goat.
Wow, look at that.
And then we have rice and peas, not much left in there.
So you're
And then white
popular,
rice.
had a good day.
Had a really good day actually. Yeah, slowly catching monkey.
How come she sounds more like London than you?
She don't, mate.
Right. No, but when you said it the other day, I was like, London? Do you mean Cockney, right?
Cockney that doesn't even exist anymore.
Dave, where are you? He said the Cockney fellas don't exist. George, get over it.
I don't know what I've started. Do you know what the significance of those trainers are up there?
All down to me being bored.
Is it really?
Yeah, being a bit silly one day. I do it early in the morning, so I'll get back at about 5 in the morning when the market's empty. So that's when I throw them up so no one can see me missing. See?
You start a craze.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
padlocks on bridges, you know.
Yeah, it's true though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can see, you know, I don't know how many more pairs we can get up there.
Oh, let's not go all the way down to the end, but that Sports Direct down there, that used to be a pool hall where I played pool with Woody Harrelson. I don't know if I've ever mentioned my celebrity friend Woody Harrelson. Have I?
Yes, you have. Played football with him.
Yes, I did. I don't know if I mentioned it.
Paul as well. Gosh, you're getting really... I actually saw Bo Diddley.
Let's all go to the music hall, where the show is gay and bright. Let's all go to the music hall, where the stars are twinkling twice a night.
Yes, Camden Passage is really a beautiful little street, and a lot of the shops here are open every day. They've got lots of antiques and vintagey type stuff. But I think the days for the antiques market, is it Saturday and Wednesday? How are you? What a charming shop.
You're very welcome here.
What sort of stuff do you have?
Vintage clothes from the 1920s, 30s, 40s and 50s. That as well.
I see a lot of ladies stuff in here. Is there anything for gentlemen? Or
Yes.
is it... Oh, really?
There's hats.
Hats. Oh, now we're talking.
As you know.
Hats.
Top hat.
Look
Top
at this.
hats,
Marvellous.
hats, Tilbys.
Look at this. Oh.
Can I try one? I've always loved the top.
Do you think that I should? I think that maybe I'm beginning to sense a new look. I rather like this one because it's a very tall top hat.
Well, it's early Victorian.
And was there some sort of, did it denote your importance, the height of your hat in some way?
No, it's more to do with fashion. I
Right.
mean, the top hats were quite tall between about 1870 and 1900.
Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio, a man of infinite jest.
Whether you sit in the gallery, the circle or the pit, or whether you sit in a red plush stall, when the busy day is done, if you want to have some fun, let's all go to the music hall.
Hello, sir.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm all right. Wow, this is interesting. What a nice shop.
I've been doing this for about 8 years now, and it's a lot of big collection of stuff, you know, from Second War, First War, And if I can get anything earlier than that, then I'd love to, but it's very difficult to find nowadays, Victorian items and so on and so forth.
Right.
So as you see there, lots of bits, but different countries as well. Cap badges, as you see here. And I've got plenty more, thousands of the things. They're all sort of different regiments from the First and Second War again. Tunics, I think some German memorabilia over there, sort of First and Second World War. A lot of this stuff has been brought in by people. So let's say Grandad was in the First or Second War and brought things back as a trophy.
So you'll buy stuff off people if they they have.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got to get me one of these. Joolz guides in the on the hot days. What are you doing here?
I'm from Martha's Vineyard. I wait tables in the summer and travel in the winter. And so I've been preparing for London 6 weeks with you all summer. Literally, I watch pretty much every single one of your videos. Hampstead. I've already been to Highgate. Camden. I drink at the Hawley. It's like my favorite pub. We're going there. She doesn't drink, but we're still going to go.
Oh, the Hawley Arms.
Love the Hawley.
Which videos do you think people...
Subscribe to his channel if you're coming to London. It's the place to be. I love the Soho because the music scene is just ridiculous. The Beatles one was awesome. And you know what? He was on Blind Date with Cilla Black. He was on Blind Date.
This is very creepy that you know all about me.
I know, it is really creepy. It is really creepy, but I didn't stalk you at all. I have stalked Gary Barlow.
Let's all go to the music hall, where the stars are twinkling twice a night.
Islington used to have lots of dairy farms. It was the main place for dairy production, providing London with its cheese and milk and what have you. And also people used to come up to Islington because of its freshwater springs. You know, the Sadler's Wells, which is the theatre, the Sadler's Wells, is named after the wells which used to be there. The Sadler's Wells, Clerkenwell, that's all from these natural springs that used to flow down this hill. However, this wasn't enough water to supply London, so they drafted in this bloke called Sir Hugh Middleton to design the new river, which I believe you can walk along today, and it's a rather lovely walk, which we will probably do in another video. But I believe that actually still supplies some houses with water today. I'm not sure, but anyway, so that went all the way down and it goes under the ground here and all the way into London. And that's why you've got him up there. But that was done in like 1613. A lovely building over there used to be a music hall where George Formby performed, Norman Wisdom, Gracie Fields, who lived just over in one of these houses, opposite actually. Oh, that's Gracie Fields' house right there. Yeah, she's the one who sings that famous song. It's in a TV ad at the moment. I'm the girl who turns the conga, the works the thingamy-bob. You know? But yeah, this lovely musical bit burnt down in 1956. So sadly, it is no more. But yes, the screen on the green, that's from 1913. The screen on the green, and it used to be called Le Cinéma Rex. I don't know if at school you had to do any French. Did you use the Tricolore Trois, the French book, to learn French? Well, Monsieur Duroc was always meeting someone for a rendezvous au Cinéma Rex. Yeah, one of the oldest in Britain. I mean, the whole of Upper Street is a very nice place to come as an alternative to going out in the West End, for example. If you want to come out to some restaurants or go out for a night on the tiles, then there's lots of interesting bars, clubs, probably not discotheques these days. Are there discotheques?
Yes, but theatres.
Oh, theatres. You've mentioned that she's obsessed with theatres. We've mentioned the theatres. There's hundreds of theatres. Across the road there, the King's Head Theatre Pub. I might leave this to a part of the show that I like to call Vintage Joolz. What I like about it is they've got all these really lovely little theatre pubs here. They've got the Hen and Chickens up near Highbury Corner, the Old Red Lion down near Angel Station, but my favourite one is the King's Head, which is over here. This is the oldest theatre pub in London. It's actually the first theatre pub to exist in London since Shakespeare's times. And the people who have passed through its doors have gone on to appear on the most famous stages in the world. So how does it feel singing in front of all these people who might not even be here for the show? They might just be here for a drink.
Slightly terrifying, but really fun as well.
You see each other as complete perfection.
Very moving. I mean, I've seen La Bohème, I don't know how many times, but each time I burst into
Cheers at the end.
I thought it was a really good idea, translating it and making it really relevant to today, actually.
This works really well, and it's fantastic, the cafe scene they bring it out here.
Were you expecting that?
Not at all. It came out of nowhere. And then this all broke out. It was fantastic.
There's been a pub here since 1543, but back in those days it was called the King's Head Tavern after King Henry VIII, who used to stop here on his way to see his mistress. And every Thursday to Sunday they've got live music and a licence until 2 AM. Stephen Burkhoff's even performed here. He's the bad guy out of Beverly Hills Cop.
In particular was brilliant.
Now, are you saying that because you know her?
And my mother.
Oh, are you? You're the mother of someone, isn't it?
Back in olden days, before King Henry VIII, a lot of the pubs used to have quite Catholic names. Like, I don't know, it would be called the Bishop's Drinking Hole, or the, the St Mary the Virgin pub, or whatever. But after King Henry VIII came along and closed down all the monasteries, all the pubs changed their names to quite royal names, like the King's Head, because they wanted to suck up to the king, and they didn't want to have their heads chopped off for being seen as Catholics. But just opposite the King's Head Theatre pub is the actual Church of St Mary, Islington, which is the one after which the parish church, this one. Come hither, my little hare. Join me for a little jaunt down this excellent pathway, which feels like it leads to another world. I love this sort of pathway. I feel like I'm about to enter Narnia or something. What is it? Oh, Church Cottage it's called. I don't know, the vicarage or something. This is actually a Tudor building. Looks like some of it has had some renovation, but this has been here since Tudor times. Amazing, isn't it? And just around the back of the St Mary Church is a delightful little puppet theatre.
The theatre's been here since 1961. We have shows on every day in this building. We'll often have 2 shows on at the same time.
They won't be late at night or anything?
No, all during the day,
right.
Pretty much. These guys might have been in a show called Cinder Mouse, potentially, am I right, Connell?
Yeah.
The mice. There are 28 types of puppetry, which I cannot remember all of them.
Glove puppetry,
finger puppetry,
shadow puppetry,
rod puppetry,
marionettes,
humanettes.
This is Cinderella.
So this has a double bridge, so you can run all the way around it, and they can do skillful puppetry from the other side.
At the moment, we've actually got the further adventures of the Owl and the Pussycat. So if you want to find out what they did next, I don't want to give you any spoilers. This time, instead of sailing away in a pea green boat, they're in a beautiful blue balloon, which you can see one of here.
Let's all go to the music hall, where the show is gay and bright. Let's all go to the music hall, where the stars are twinkling twice a night.
In here is our workshop. So lots of puppets get made in here. We also have courses for now and again for adults. So you can make a tabletop puppet or carve a marionette, usually over the course of a week.
The thumb here would move this arm, the left arm. The index finger would move the right arm.
She's coming. She's quite tentatively coming forward. Hello, how do you do?
I'm fine, thank you very much.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Oh, I'm just going to sit here.
Oh, what a good idea. I don't blame you. I feel like we should have a cup of tea.
Yes, let's have a cup of tea.
Whether you sit in the gallery, the circle or the pit, or whether you sit in a red plush stall, when the busy day is done, if you want to have some fun, let's all go to the music hall.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the fabulous
Gerda.
Bravo!
It reminds me of the time that I was at school when we had this competition and we had to recite poetry, and I did the Owl and the Pussycat in a very big kind of way, and I was really annoyed because another kid did it also and he won, but his rendition was rubbish, and the only reason he won, I'm pretty sure, was because he was the son of the French teacher, Mr. Waite's son. I was so angry. I went up there bowling in there going, the Owl and the Pussycat went to sea in a beautiful pea green boat. He came along and he's just stood there on the stage like that, and he went, The owl and the pussycat went to sea in a beautiful pea green boat. Right. I know. And he won, and it was so boring. And that is the story of my life. Every time I did a stand-up comedy night, everyone liked me the best.
Where the stars are twinkling twice a night.
It's not fair. It's not fair. Come.
Cheese ready.
Coming there.
It could have been you. It could have been you.
You know, our dad was actually caned when he was at school. He told us the only time he ever got the cane at school was because he laughed at the pobble who had no toes. he thought it was a ridiculous poem, and so he started laughing in class, and they gave him the cane. Those of you who know The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy might be familiar with Hot Black Desiato. Was he a rock star? I think he's a rock star. Anyway, Douglas Adams actually lived in Islington, and he based it on this particular one here. Kid, beat it. But who are you? I'm the guy who's telling you to beat it. I am Mr. Desiato's bodyguard. I am responsible for his body, and I'm not responsible for yours, so take it away before it gets damaged. That's that guy. Yet another theatre, the Almeida, about which I'm not going to say much. The thing I like about this road is that if you go down the end, there's a very charming little passageway. And I love passageways. This particular one doesn't smell of urine. Well, you see this thing that looks like some sort of, I don't know, temple, I don't know. That's actually a ventilation shaft for the Victoria line, London Underground.
Yeah, you can hear it actually.
Can you hear the noise?
Yeah. I think so.
And originally they wanted to build some 50-foot high, I don't know, chimney or something, big ugly thing, and all the residents around here understandably went crazy, and they managed to persuade him to build that, which looks a little bit more in keeping with the area, I suppose.
Let's all go to the music hall, where the show is gay and bright. Let's all go.
Yeah, the Hope and Anchor has a theatre upstairs, and this is famous for being the venue of many punk rock bands and stuff in the 1970s and 80s. The Cure, The Damned, Pogues, Dr. Feelgood, Dire Straits, yeah, loads of famous punk bands played their early gigs here. Joy Division, Police, the list is endless. Bill Lost, yeah. Cheers, cheers, cheers everyone. Don't forget, I've got lots of other videos, so click on one of these links around my face to watch some of my other amazing videos about London, because there are very, very many of them. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so immediately by clicking the red button. Cheers, everybody. See you around like a donut.
So go to the music hall.